Hope It Helps podcast, where we together try to find the calm amidst the chaos of everyday life. Derek Evans here, your host from hopeithelps.org. And today's post and podcast is about the best way to impact the world. And deep down, I think we all want to make a difference. At least I know I do. And I've given a lot of thought to this. What's the best way to do it? I've always felt this calling to help other people. In fact, when you ask one of those soul questions, which is, what do I want? The first thing that comes to my mind is always, I want to help people. It's the first thing that comes to my mind just instantaneously. There are many ways to do this, and none of them are wrong necessarily. Whether we are helping a homeless person out with a few dollars, volunteering for a charity like the Salvation Army, or donating money to a charity like the Salvation Army or St. Jude's or one of the other good ones out there. It's all good stuff. It's great, actually. But if we are serious about spending our precious time in this life working toward the absolute best way, most effective way that we can impact the planet and humanity and life, we have a lot to consider. It's stumped me for decades. I started thinking about this when I was a teenager. But now, the answer seems obvious to me. Let's first talk about the ripple. Now, every single action that takes place has energy attached to it. The entire universe is full of just energy and information. Everything is energy and information. And so every action has energy associated with it. Now, this energy can be seen as a lot of an infinity of different combinations, but there are only two factors that go into this energy. Number one is amplitude, or the strength of the action. And then number two is its charge, if you will, whether positive or negative. So every action has a positive or negative effect, and then each action has different amounts or varying amounts of strength or amplitude. Now, there might be some actions that we think are neutral, taking a step, for example, or wiping your eyes. But this is an illusion, because every single one of these actions has a charge in one direction or another. Even if that charge is too small for us to notice, it's present. Now, think about how the energy from all these actions ripples outwardly into the world. This happens with every action all day long. Every step we take, every word we speak, every text, email we send, and every single thing that we do every day has a ripple to it. It generates a ripple of energy. I think we've all been in those situations where we walk into a room and we can tell the energy is bad. You've even said something similar to, the tension was so thick we could cut it with a knife. That's energy that you're feeling. You're saying tension is in the air, but it's really just energy that you're feeling. So if we can zoom out for just a second and soak that in and think about, and what I mean by zoom out is pull out, pretend like you're on the moon and you're looking at Earth and you're watching each one of these little pulsations of energy that take place throughout the entire planet. The answer to this question, the best way to impact the world, will jump right out at us. The best way to have a positive impact on the world is to generate as many strong and positive ripples as possible. No matter who, here's the beautiful thing, no matter who we are, we can affect millions and millions of people in our life just by watching our ripple. We don't have to be famous. We don't have to be well known or popular to have a huge impact. We just have to pay attention to our actions, make conscious choices, and deliver those positive ripples over and over in everyday life. That alone can literally change the world. Now imagine yourself if you're doing this. Now imagine if, anytime we think about these actions that we should be doing, always try to say, well, what if everyone did this? Would it be okay? This is why the Sadhguru says that people should not smoke pot, because he says, well, if everyone did this, it would be a problem. Well, that's one way to look at things, right? In this case, imagine if everyone was paying attention to the ripple and sending positive ripples all day. What a difference that would make in the world. You can make a huge difference in the world. We all can, just by managing our ripple. So we talk about creating small ripples, and they're all worthwhile. But ask yourself throughout the day, how can I generate a positive ripple right now? What can I do that will change this person's day? Maybe it's the person who's taking my order. Maybe it's someone who's waiting on us. Eventually this will come more natural. We won't have to remind ourselves as much. We could be sitting in a Starbucks, for example, and think this, how can I generate a positive ripple right now? And then we might look and see a woman who's got a stroller and maybe her hands are full and she's walking up to the front door. You jump up, you go, you open that door for her, and then you keep the door open for the next couple people who are coming in. Because in your mind, you're generating positivity and creating a positive ripple. You're smiling at these people, you're happily opening the door, you're not begrudgingly doing it or annoyingly doing it. But these are small amplitude positive ripples. They're the definition of it, but they're helpful. They're very helpful because to the greater good, these small ripples could become a big ripple. That small ripple that changes that person's day could make them generate a huge positive ripple later in the day, later in the week. And this goes, unfortunately, for both positive and negative. So when we experience and we generate those negative ripples, the same thing is also possible. And so this is why we have to be really conscious of our ripples at all times. Every single action we take creates a ripple of energy. In the blog, I have posted a video that may seem cheesy, but it's also a good indication, it's very realistic, of how ripples can work. And you can see it very simply. And you could experience it. And you could understand it just by watching that video. So I recommend that you check that out. Now, when we talk about creating big ripples, this is where it gets uncomfortable. Because it's easy to open the door for someone. It's easy to hand a few dollars to a homeless person who may look really, really, really down and out. But creating big ripples usually requires us to get uncomfortable. So, for example, you may notice a stranger sitting in a restaurant or sitting on the side of an outdoor patio area, clearly sad, down in the dumps, maybe even sobbing. Now, when something like this happens, it is an opportunity for you to have a major impact on the world. When people become angry like a mob over some controversial issue of the day, this is also a chance to change the world, to create a big ripple of compassion and kindness. For most of us, volunteering our time to help those in need will be the best way to create big ripples. For most of us. If you want to spend your time helping people one-on-one, looking in their eyes, showing them you care, that's a great way to create a big ripple. For other people, starting their own nonprofit or even starting their own movement around helping others will also do the same thing. Now, when I say big ripples, it's not as much about the size of the action that I'm talking about here. In other words, donating $100 versus giving a homeless person at $2 versus donating $100 million. It's not the size, quantity of the action. It's about how much positive energy. That's what I'm talking about. When I say big, I mean big positive energy are put into it. And an example, just smiling at someone in a loving, in a caring, in a compassionate way could be strong enough to change their life. That's a fact. So it's not necessarily about money or about time. It's about your own commitment to it. Do you really care about that person? Do you really want them to have a great day? And if you do, genuinely, they will feel it, because that ripple will be like a wave hitting them in the ocean. The point of this is that we can change the world. People who have a calling to help others come to a crossroads on a regular basis about, am I doing enough? I'm spending all this time, I'm spending all this energy. Am I really making an impact? Well, we don't even have to do all that. We can change the world. And if we want to change the world, then we will. Each and every one of us has the power. The major insight for me about this ripple effect is that you don't have to necessarily be dedicated or dedicating your entire life to a cause. You don't have to start a new movement or give your life savings away to charity. Literally, all we have to do to affect millions of lives in our lifetime is to just pay close attention to our ripple and actively seek opportunities to create more positive ripples in our lives. The ways that you can do this are abundant. Being relaxed in a stressful situation, telling someone you love them or you care about them or you want to help them, asking people what you can do for them. There's so many ways to create positive ripples. You can do it all day long, and man, it really does feel good. And we shouldn't look at it from the standpoint of, well, I want to create positive ripples because I want that positivity to come back to me, because that's obviously just selfish. That's just ego talk, right? We do it because we want to change the world, not because we expect to get anything back out of it. We do it because we want to make the world a better place, and we each can do exactly that just with this one simple practice. Happy meditating. I truly hope this helps. Namaste.